I'm fulfilling a request of a viewer. One of my viewers was like, yo, you need to talk about this Stevie Knight guy, because we've been doing a segment, we're doing a list of segments where we're talking about grifters, and we've been focused on a conservative black grifter. The Hodge twins, Jason Whitlock, Brandon Tatum, of course, Jesse Lee Peterson, the OG of coonery. We know we've been over these people, but someone said, Tim Black, don't forget Stevie Knight. To that I say, damn, do I have to remember this guy? Really? Look, man, I don't watch a lot of Stevie Knight. I do know who he is. I won't act like I don't know who he is. Hey, when people do that. They bring up somebody's name and be like, oh, I don't even know who, what? Like, you know, this is like the hi-hat, the Hollywood shit where they act like they're better than people. Nah, if I haven't heard of somebody, I'll say it. If I have heard of somebody, I'll say it. I've heard of Stevie Knight. But what I gotta say is, I never found his content to be to my liking. I don't like people who dog Black America out and treat Black America as a flat, like something to step on for viewership. And that's what I feel Stevie Knight does. And lately, he's been getting his ass roasted by Auburn Preach. And I saw a couple other people comment on it. Some people are making content about it. They seem to be doing a good job of taking this guy out and confronting him with issues. And I think it's impacting him, frankly, which is good, because it's not because I want to see a brother lose money. It's not because I want to see a brother come down. But I think all is fair in media. And if you put out certain types of content where you're dumping on Black America needs to stand up and say, hey, we gonna police ourselves. We don't have a real ADL. We don't have, NAACP don't do shit for us. We don't have, the Urban League is not handling this shit, independent media-wise, right? So I think it's up to Black independent media to confront Black independent media that are selling out Black Americans, who are being weaponized against us for money. I think it's fair game to call them out. So with that in question, of course, people that can respond to you when they disagree, and people, if Steve Knight wants to defend himself, the door is open to defend yourself. But I wanted to take a look at one of your videos. Before we go any further, let me let you know, the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed, 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. The title of this video is, Black people call me a sellout, or I am a black, something like that, right? So he's got music. Let me try to get past the music. People still do intros? That's so 2010.
All right, so what we got? We got Coon, we got Bootlicker, we got Coconut, we got Uncle Tom. Sellout is funny. That's an interesting one. That's one I got to get back to. Yeah, man. You know, as of this whole Kirk situation, bro, these labels have been flying at your boy.
Okay, let me say this off the top, because I'm not going to use a whole lot of his video. We're going to use just enough to make our point and just to hear him out. But I got to say, anytime you got to come out and defend yourself like this, that's a bad look. As a person that does this for a living, when you have to come out and defend this, that means it's something that has gotten big enough where you had to address it. Typically, things that you had to address to this point, unless you're like me, because I've addressed things that I knew I shouldn't have addressed them, but I was just mad because like one person like being an irritant. And I was really pissed. I should have never done it. But Stevie Knight has been catching heat from a number of people for his actions about one particular issue, and that's Charlie Kirk. The fact you're coming out now, that means it's hurting your bottom line. It's leaving a mark. And I think when as you're talking, you ain't gonna be thinking about how it's looking, that maybe they got a point. But we'll see. Let's keep going, guys.
And it's not something I'm new to, bro, because when you have, I guess, more conservative takes, and I hate even putting that label on things, man, but, perception is reality, man. If you saying something that aligns with certain ways and certain eyes, they put you in this box, right? And you know, black man with more of a conservative take on things, the black culture is going to despise. I mean, your boy done got death threats from strangers, bro. Like, it's like that, bro. That's a whole different conversation, man. But like, it ain't even the words, the labels, like the name calling that bother me.
Look, man, this guy is doing a lot of, he wants to be, it sounds a lot like he wants to play victim. Man, everybody who puts content on the internet gets death threats. If you do political content, if you do content on shit, if you do content about football teams, sports content, you get death threats. Like this, stop. Nobody who does commentary that wants views on the internet that gets any sizable amount of views should even be able to open a video up with that. So now you upset people call you names. You don't get upset when they call you the greatest. You don't get upset when people cheer for you, and I know you do. I know people be cheering for you, Mr. Knight. People be giving you money. People be supporting you. Well, on the other side of that, there's gonna be people that don't feel so good about you. So he's doing the patented, folks, a patented move, which is play victim and set that up as I'm being attacked. Now, I'm being attacked by black people. Why? Because the people that you're shitting on are typically black people. Do you shit on white people? No. Same thing with the Hodge twins. The people that you're going after are the people, you're throwing rocks at certain people. Then when they start throwing rocks back, you're going, I'm just being honest. It's not my fault the rocks hit you. Which is bullshit. We all know it's so obvious. All people got to do is go down your timeline. Anybody who doubts what I'm saying, go down the timeline. Look at the thumbnails of his videos. Look at the titles. Who is most of his content about? Same thing with the Hodge twins. All of his major hits are content about black people in a negative sense. Folks, no matter how you slice it, black people only make up 14% of the population. We do not fill up the news cycle to that extent. There's a reason. Let's stop being kids. Mr. Knight, there's a reason why you cover black people almost exclusively in a negative fashion. And is that a surprise that you build a following that expect that from you? Which is the bad part about it. Because once you start that way, you must continue. I talk about black people in the negative, but I support black people. And the only reason why I talk about black people in the negative because I'm talking about certain black people who are negative. So when I'm talking about Bakari Sellers or something Simone Sanders said or something Jasmine Crockett says, I'm not against black people. I'm talking about that on behalf of black people. And people can tell the difference. People that be here for 2 seconds. They can tell because I go deeply about what I'm fighting for and why I'm fighting for it. I don't then big up Tim Scott and Jason Whitlock and Candace Owens while I shit on these certain black people. You understand what I'm saying? So, let's keep going. So far, I don't feel anything. I feel no sorrow, empathy. I feel no empathy. I feel no empathy at all for Mr. Knight. I feel like he's playing a game. I hope he can prove me wrong. Let's see.
It's what it means at the core is my issue, man. You know what I mean? Because when I get those labels tossed at me, I know exactly who I'm talking to, and I know that there's no talking to them. Right? Like if you come to the point to, label someone, and I know what that means in the black community too, bro. It's like, if you black, being called a coon or Uncle Tom, bootlicker or whatever, it's like the worst thing ever because they're pretty much saying you ain't black. Right? And just that.
Nah, you black, you just don't support black people. You're taking advantage of a system that allows you to financially gain from degrading black people. And that's a very negative thing to do for any group of people. And folks, you put out content, you keep talking about boxes and people putting you in a box. No, you put yourself in a box by the content you cover. I'm from the Washington area, the DMV, Washingtonian area. I was a supporter of the Redskins, which was not a great team, but it was my team. If I did content back in the 90s and I was supporting my team, I'd be a DC sports supporter, football team supporter, whatever, right? Redskins supporter. That's what I would be. It would just be what I do. And the person saying, you're a supporter, you love the Redskins. I wouldn't be like, there you go, put me in a box. When you go on my damn channel, I went on your channel, sir, you got all these videos supporting the Redskins. You're bigging up the Redskins and shitting on the Cowboys. Their chief rival. Yeah. But that doesn't mean I'm a Redskins fan. That doesn't mean I support the Redskins. Why are you putting me in a box, Johnson? That's how you sound, man. Do you see how dumb that is? Like, that doesn't, like, who do you make this video for? Is this supposed to stop? This supposed to be a tourniquet for the bleeding? This is supposed to stop the bleeding of the hemorrhaging of viewers? What? Are your white audience now realizing you're not as helpful to their causes because you don't really have a strong black following? That's what always gets me about you guys. You and Anton Daniels, I understand you have some black people that watch you. But once they catch on, once they get it, it's crazy. I think both of you put out the same video within 48 hours of each other, which was, they don't like conservative blacks. Black people are so mean to conservative blacks. That's because you shit on them. Yeah, try shitting on conservative whites and see what kind of videos they put out. See what they do. See what Nick says. See what see what they have for you. Let's keep going.
Like, just on that alone, what that stands for, it's like thinking black people need to be a monolith. Like, all black people need to look.
I'm about to cut him off already. These are talking points to monolith. Black people are not a monolith. Not a monolith. Yeah, people say that who do monolithic content. Nobody calls you a monolith. No one says you need to be a certain way if that's all you do. I had a comment, I'm gonna put this on the screen when I put this video out as a clip. I had someone say to me, a viewer said, Tim Black, I love this show because you hit both sides. No one can accuse you of helping either party. That is the best effing compliment a media person could get. No one will ever say that to Joy Reid, ever. And she's very rich. Because you don't get rich doing that. But it is a compliment because that's my goal. I'm not perfect, man. I'm not perfect. My bias against Democrats shows, but I do try to balance it when times rise. When time rises, I balance it. When times rise, you balance it. When a black person was unalived by the cops who was unarmed, what was your take? When a young man, were you covering the lynching of the young man in Mississippi? It appears now it may have been a lynching. We're waiting on the results of the second autopsy to be released for our own eyes to see. Did you cover it? Mr. Trey Reid, did you cover that? Have you covered subsequent other murders? Have you talked about the lynchings of black men in the South? There's been like 9 in Mississippi and the surrounding areas in the last several years. Have you covered that, Mr. Knight? But you've covered certain shootings, right, involving black Americans. What'd you do with the, I don't know how long you've been covering content. Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, all these different stories have happened. Eric Garner, all these things, Deontay Wilder, all these stories that come to mind. Like, where were you on these stories? See, it's not in a vacuum. It's not just one thing. It's not just if you did this one thing, now you're a coon. It's track record. So what I'm saying is, what have you done to mitigate it? I shit on the Democrats a lot, but I've also sided. I've been very upfront about how I feel about Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny should be in jail. That's it. You don't need to kill a man who's unarmed on a subway train because he's talking reckless. You are trained. Your body is a weapon. You're a trained Marine. This dude does something, then you can do whatever you want. But until he puts his hand on somebody, until he reaches for something, anything, you're a weapon. Why you need to choke out a 130-pound unarmed man, inebriated with no, why? For being loud and being unruly. So I don't know, but you, Mr. Knight, I don't watch you like that. But what I'm saying is, your body of work is what speaks for you. That's all people know. People don't know you. I know you do a lot of flexing, you keep moving in the chair. You know, that's good. You in good shape and shit. You got your teeth all straight. And you young man, that's good for you. But that don't change what comes out your mouth, man. It don't matter how you present. If you ain't presenting shit, it don't matter how well you speak. If you ain't saying shit. And it don't matter what you stand on. If you ain't standing on shit. Let's go a little bit longer. I think we're about to eject on him because he ain't gonna say anything of substance to change my opinion. Maybe some of y'all will be, so I want to give him the opportunity to have the last word.
Same and feel the same and view things the same. That's a whole nother problem in itself, man. The reality of the situation is that black people are not a monolith. And y'all want black people to be a monolith, bro, and that's not it. And it's racist, bro. It's like the pot calling the kettle black.
Okay, I get it, man. He says what you want him to say about shit, and he's a blackface doing it. Look, man. White people, are they a monolith? No, they're not, right? It's not a monolith. Do conservatives and leftists and liberals, they all disagree with each other. Liberals, progressives, conservatives, moderates, whatever, and you have far right, whatever. That's five. Damn, they don't all agree on shit. They label each other all the time. They go at each other all the time. They say shit about each other all the time. Tim Pool don't rock with Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes didn't rock with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk probably thought this guy, Beck, was a dumbass. I don't know. Like, you know, get what I'm saying? Like, there's all these different factions. But considering black people's history makes it totally different. But even that, there are all types of black people. There are black people that aren't even political. Just like there are white people that wouldn't fall in any, the biggest party is independent, that don't actually vote on any side of the aisle at all at any given time. They're a swing voter or a non-voter. A lot of black people chose the couch. Their politics is whatever works at the time, whatever. But Stevie Knight just sounds like somebody complaining and trying to say that people got him wrong. But they didn't get your ass wrong. You got it wrong. They did not get you wrong. If you think people have judged you wrong, look at your content and make a decision based on your content. What are you putting out into the world? You got to decide if you want to be hood famous, if you want to be down with your people. You can disagree with them, but it's got to come from a place of love. People can accept criticism, but it must be criticism with integrity and love and compassion and be logical and sound. And that's why I got a problem with you and Anton. Y'all be just saying talking points. Talk about black fatigue and other dumb shit. These are buzzwords that weren't even created by black people being weaponized against black people. And you're regurgitating the same talking points that the right is using against black people. And then you wonder why people have a problem with you. Let's stop messing with each other. You know, don't play with people's intelligence. That's all I ask. We can have a debate. We can look at issues differently, right? That's cool. But I feel like sometimes y'all just be playing with people's intelligence. We know what it is. I'm in this business. I know where the money at, dog. Young man, I know where the paper's at. Why can't you just say, why don't you be like Charleston White and say, I'm going this way for the paper? Why can't you be honest? Charleston White said, man, I'm playing a role. I'm doing this for the paper. When I was being a good dude and doing this and doing that, I was broke. Then when I started becoming a caricature of myself and started criticizing certain things, the paper went crazy. You say, I'm fitting to be on my own reality. I've already done movies on Tubi. I'm fitting to be in a position to be able to do this and do that. And my whole life has changed. I can't go back to being who I am or being who I think I need to be to make this paper. That's an honest, you can disagree with it, but it's more honesty in that Charleston White statement than you're going to get out of 100 Joy Reids and Don Lemons, Rachel Maddow's, Ellie Mistles, any of these people. You know what I'm saying? That's real. Mr. Knight, you're full of shit. It's very obvious, very clear. You're no different than many others that are full of shit. You can change this. I have the ability to call balls and strikes. At least that's my goal. I recently did a video about Jim Clyburn. You know Jim Clyburn, don't you? I am the most progressive there's ever been progressive. No, hold on a second. My name's Jim Clyburn. I've been representing in Congress behind Joe Biden. We're riding with Joe. We're riding with Joe. This guy been the biggest Steven from Django when it comes to politics. I've had so much criticism and he's taken all pharmaceutical money. He voted against the best interests of Black Americans. He worked with Republicans to gerrymander his own district to make sure his ass would always have a job. Now he wants to hand it off to his daughter. He's just, But you know what he did recently? Recently, him and Abby Phillip destroyed a panel on CNN. You know what I did? I gave him props. Because a broken clock is right twice a day. And it was the truth. Have you been right, Mr. Knight? You and the Hodgkins and Anton Daniels need to cut this shit. You know what you're doing. This is a cartoon. Or a dog and being chased by this other dog or whatever, chase after each other, and then at the end of the night, they get off work, and they're sitting on a fence, and they're just talking. And one looks at the other, natural enemies. They look at each other and think, hey man, it's been a rough day. And you all right? Yeah. But take care of yourself, you know what I'm saying? And, go, got things going on, life's not going great, but, hey, hang in there, hope you're going to be okay, get some sleep, and I'll be chasing you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And that's sort of the thing, I can have that. It's your job to steal. It's my job to catch you. If that's all you doing is stealing and you ain't pushing no ladies down the stairs, it's your job to think Charlie Kirk was a savior. You were talking all this goofy shit, hoping that you would absorb his audience. I don't know. It's my job to call that shit out. Maybe it's Auburn Preacher's job. They thought it was their job. I don't know. Maybe it's a slow month. I don't know. And maybe it was just your turn. I don't know. But only you know, if you've been a person of a certain caliber where we could have disagreements and still have meaningful conversations and still have a mutual respect for each other. No one should respect you unless you've earned respect. Respect is earned, not given. Have you earned respect from the Black community outside of the bubble of people that are demented, that think Black people are all these negative things that you say they are? We're enterprising, creative, resilient people. Perhaps the most resilient in the history of the United States. The deliberate efforts to disintegrate us as a people has been unrelenting. And we're still here and we're still growing. And I don't know if you've been speaking in a way that is respectful to those people. Only you know that. I question if you have, because people hear your shit. If you've been saying the right shit, if you've been saying things that were borderline, but you always had a core that was real or whatever, people will respect that because they see the videos. They'd hear it. Here you would be saying it. In this job, you get such opportunities to display the real you. No one could just put out a smear. People could have smeared Ellen DeGeneres because no one really sees her behind the scenes. So someone can say, hey, behind the scenes, Ellen DeGeneres was an asshole. People are like, I don't know. Then they got to decide if they believe the person who's saying it. But a person that says Stevie Knight is some cut, he's straight up cap. He's a sellout. He's a Sambo. He's a, all these things, right? That's based on your content. That's not based on what they hear. That's not based on something behind the scenes. That's based on what people can see that's in the general view for the general public. So I question if this is a smear, dog. You did the thing. You know, you put the movie out. People watched it. They said it was garbage. Go make new movies. Either that or quit the movie business. A great friend of mine told me, he said, Tim, you don't know what you've done, but you've created a great library for your kids. And one day when you're gone, they're going to have all these memories of you. Hours and hours of you left for them. And just know that that's an amazing thing. And I thought about that, like, wow, you know, that's right, I don't have that with my dad. I got a few photographs, but I don't have videos, him talking, his thoughts, saying things, making jokes, being him, dropping science, dropping bombs, truth bombs, just talking, shooting the shit. I don't have that, and that's an amazing thing. Stevie Knight, Anton Daniels, Hodge Twins. Only you know. Only you know. Not me, I don't know shit about you. Have you been the man you want to be in this content that you're going to leave for your child? If you were gone tomorrow, this would be there. Could you stand on it? Would you be okay with that being your legacy to them? And if you're okay with it, the hell with the haters, right? The hell with people's opinions. Only you know that answer. It's a very personal answer. I feel good about who I've become. I feel good about what I be leaving behind. What will speak for me. Everybody's got to make that decision. And if you feel good with it, regardless of what criticism you get from me or anybody else, who gives a damn, yo? That's the game. That's what it is. That's what we do. And we sign up for people to have opinions. We got opinions, and people can have opinions about our opinions, okay? And that ain't no big deal. It don't change anything. You know, recently, over the summer, we saw some people unalived for beef on YouTube. What a fucking waste. It ain't that serious. What's more serious is what you leave your children. I'm Tim Black. I'll see you soon. Love y'all.
The Tim Black Show streams Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wolfpack.